Pozdravljeni vsi skupaj. Ker se vam v novem letu še nič nisem uspela tako osebno oglasiti v kakem videu, vam najprej v prihajajočem letu želim vse dobro. Naj se vaši plani izpolnijo po vaših načrtih in jaz verjamem, da če delamo v eno smer, ki nas veseli in osrečuje, da se nam vse poti sklenejo v pravo smer. Tako da obenem bi se vam rada neizmerno zahvalila za odzive, za komentarje, za sledenja, za vse, kar prispevate k moji strani, k mojemu ozaveščanju. Vsako sporočilo, ko mi nekdo sporoči, da je naša pomoč in ima za to lepše življenje, boljše življenje, lažje življenje, me v bistvu spodbudi in mi pokaže, da sem na pravem mestu in da delam pravo stvar. In zato sem tudi tu in sem neizmerno hvaležna, da sem tudi zaradi vas. Na Facebooku se nas je že precej zbralo, nazadnje sem vam zahvaljevala za 150 sledilcev, zdaj nas je že preko 170, tako da ful hvala. Jaz sem zelo vesela, da se nabiramo in da čim več ljudi sliši in ve za skotopični sindrom, ker to je moj namen, to je moje poslanstvo. Želela sem narediti en kratek uvod v video, ki sem vam ga pripravila. Kot veste, sem želela izpostaviti zgodbe uporabnikov barvnih filtrov Irlen in ene video sem vam že pripravila v lanskem letu in sedaj temu mojemu monologu sledi nov pogovor, ki sicer ni v slovenščini, ampak sem dodala podnapise, sicer v videu sem rekla, da bomo govorili v angleščini, ker sem najprej mislila, da ne bom dodajala podnapisov, ampak nima smisla, da kdo ne bi razumel tega videa, ker je res zelo pomemben. Ta zgodba zelo oriše, kako je se spopadati in živeti s skotopičnim sindromom, dokler ne dobimo prave pomoči, torej barvnih filtrov ali folij. Tako da se mi je zdelo zelo pomembno, da vsi razumete, zakaj se v videu gre. In sem seveda potem dodala tudi podnapise v slovenščini in bom njene portale, kamor objavlja, tudi napisala tu ob strani, da si boste lahko pogledali tudi njen del zgodbe. In ja še enkrat pozivam vse, ki imate izkušnjo s skotopičnim sindromom, ki se vam zdi pomembno, da bi o tem tudi ostali izvedeli več, da me kontaktirate, če ste pripravljeni svojo zgodbo deliti z mano, seveda, in na podoben način pripravimo en pogovor in bomo tako še bolj razširili, še z večjo močjo skotopični sindrom in obenem vpliv barvnih filtrov. In zakaj je tako pomembno, da pridemo do njih pravočasno, kaj izboljšajo in zakaj je ta tema tako zelo pomembna. Tako da ne bom vas več pustila dolgo čakati, tale pogovor je malo daljši, jaz upam, da vam bo zanimiv in se vidimo v naslednjem videu. Najlepša hvala in čau!
Hello everyone, today I have a very special guest with us today. We are going to talk in English, unfortunately. I hope that some of you will understand us, but I think it's very important that we talk about Irlen syndrome in general and globally as well. So I am very thankful to welcome Hannah with us. Hi Hannah, thank you for joining me today.
That's right.
Hannah and I introduced ourselves, find ourselves on Instagram. She is an Irlen ambassador in UK, and that's why it's so exciting that we can talk about Irlen's today. And she knows Irlen syndrome very well. As you can see, she also has her Irlen lenses. And today we are all about your story and I will just start with your experience with Irlen, where your problems started in your life.
Well, the problems were there since I was young, probably born with it. I just struggled throughout my life, like throughout, primary school into secondary school, with with learning. Like I would struggle keeping up with the class, and I was always called lazy throughout that time, like for not trying hard enough. When I was really trying hard enough, it was just so hard. And then when I got to college, that's when the problem was picked up, because I was just struggling to copy from the board, and I was falling behind because in college they put things on the board and then it goes like that very quickly. And I was blinking a lot because of the type of lighting in the classroom. So I was rubbing my eyes, and the lady was like, "Is there a problem? Like, is that something that you experienced for a long time?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's been there like throughout my life. I just haven't noticed it as an issue. It was picked up." So after that, I was screened for Irlen at the college, given the colour overlay to try, and I felt that really helped me. And this was back in 2012, but I never knew about the filters back then, so it was still a long progress till I knew about the glasses.
We experienced such an enormous amount of work, and we think that we really try so hard, but that expansion of time when we are able to work is so short that everyone thinks that we don't try hard enough. And we feel that we are not capable to work anymore, and someone else would say, "Well, you just studied for 20 minutes, what's wrong?" And to tell someone about your experience, it's really hard, because you don't even know that it shouldn't be like that.
No.
So who saw the problems or the symptoms that you were experienced, and how did you get help? From who you find that solution?
So when I was in college, the lady that was like support worker, so there was dyslexic in the class as well, and she helped him, but she was just watching me, and she just realizing, because I asked her if she could write it down for me, because I was just struggling to copy from the board, because I was just missing out on the important stuff. And like after that, because there was a screener at the college anyway, so she knew her, and she knew about Irlen syndrome as it was at that, like in the college. And there was someone else in the college too that brought it in the first place, for this to have a screener there. That was really important.
So you didn't know about your Irlen's until college?
Yeah,
that's quite the same with me. So what kind of did you ever experience, because that was my experience, that during my school and college, that I picked up the subjects that I felt I was capable of doing, and I didn't really want to challenge myself about learning something very new or something very large. Did you detect yourself to find the easy ways?
Well, in school, they just gave me like the options that they thought would be better for me from at that time, because they were like, "Oh, she is struggling to learn," but they were like, "Oh, it's just her learning difficulties," when really I didn't have a learning difficulty. It was just it was the Irlen that caused all the issues. And when I went to college, I didn't have no GCSEs, so my only option was doing a course that you didn't need any GCSEs.
You didn't really have much options.
No.
Yeah, that's the thing that I talk a lot about also, that Irlen syndrome is not such a very terrible thing, but if it's not detected earlier or earlier in your childhood, it can really impact your work or your your life, because you choose the things that you think you are capable of doing, and it's unfortunate because you don't get the same chance as anyone else if you're capable of learning as much. What do you think? You said you have your lenses now from 2012.
So I got my first ever lenses in 2015, because that's when I didn't know about them. So I did my own research from then, and I found someone to do my that did the lenses for Irlen filters. And since then, I think it's like a light bulb was switched on, because every year I've had a new tint, and it's like they get better every time for me. It makes things so much easier.
So you have a severe Irlen syndrome.
Yeah.
Because you said right now that your lenses changed in first years pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So which lenses do you have now? How many did you switch in your years now?
Oh, I've had it must be my 8th pair now, because I did change a lot in 2021 because of how much the lockdown affected me, because I just had a long delay in between my lenses, so it caused me to be a bit just so sensitive, very sensitive than I was.
You are working with Alan Penn.
Yeah.
He is now working with you on your lenses, and talk to us about it. Working with him, it's probably very, very important for you as well.
Yeah, it is, because every time I go and see him, he always knows what, when I'm changed, like I'm different. As I go into the assessment all quiet and not myself, and then he gets me at the end laughing and just cheerful and able to, I just I don't want him to go. Like, don't take him away from me. It's like that feeling. He's like, "Will you get them in a few weeks' time?" And I'm like, "Oh." It's like that, and then you gotta put your old ones back on. You're like, "Oh, no, I want my other one. I want the new ones now."
Yeah, it would be really nice if we could just took those lenses that we are having
and just take them away.
Yeah.
Because he really understands, because he has Irlen himself, so he knows the difference it makes.
I met him once when he was visiting Slovenia, and I saw him work, and he is very professional, and he knows a lot about it, and he has a very great feeling about what do you need, and I mean, it's a pretty amazing. You met Helen Irlen as well.
So I met Helen Irlen at the Irlen conference in Manchester in 2019. So I met her twice, during the conference. So it was a 4-day event, but I went to the 2-day event because that was the days where the public were allowed to come and be part of the conference and learn a lot more about Irlen, and able to meet her because I was able to, because she was like, come and talk at the front during the client talk. So she got me to talk, and it got very emotional too, because talking about my past, with school life and how far I've come, is just because of her work. It's just helped me and so many people to have Irlen, and what the colour can do, the scientific side of things, how colour just makes the brain much calmer and able to take things in and just cope with everyday life.
I feel the same way because it's like someone give you the chance in your life.
Yeah.
Now that you have lenses, what parts of your life would you say improved the most?
Well, I think I would say everything, because like my anxiety is like it's much lower when my filters are 100% working, and when it's amazing, like I'm like able to cope with certain, like all the lights, or go shopping, just do everything that that I wouldn't have been able to do before. If I go into a shop and I'm not, like, I'm like due to go back, it just gets overwhelming. So many people at once, like too many people, and you're like, it's too busy. I just want to get out of here. And
yeah, everything gets annoying.
Yeah.
Too much people, noise, light, everything is just too much at some
Yeah.
point. And how did you become later on the ambassador for Irlen syndrome?
So I think it was after like a few months after I got my filters, and because of like how much it improved me, I just wanted to see, well, I struggled all my school life. Why do other people need to struggle as well? So I decided to put a piece out in my newspaper on it and how much my filters have helped me. And I didn't think nothing would come out from it. So because I knew about Helen then, I did send the article to her, and I had a lovely email from her. And then a couple of months later, there was a big envelope in the post, and I opened it up, and it was the ambassador certificate. And I was like, that's when it just all came from then. And more things happened after that. Like I was able to be part of the Welsh, went to the Welsh Assembly, like invited by another Irlen ambassador to be part of that. And then after that, went up to Parliament, same, like being invited up there as well. And yeah, it just all started from then. And it just done my own things as well, like with my college. I've done like an event there, job club I've been to, I spoke about Irlen syndrome. And before the conference, I had my own another event a few people came to, and a couple of school teachers came to that to learn about Irlen. And it's just, and then mostly I do my blogs and videos on Irlen, and a lot of articles that I've done.
Now I want to talk to you about all the drama that's been going on in Slovenia. Prior to our conversation, we were talking, you were aware of the media coverage last year. And this year it kind of started again around that awareness week, when there is a lot more talk about Irlen syndrome. And I would like to know your thoughts on this topic. It's very bizarre, because there are people that really aren't in the field of Irlen syndrome, but they still are in positions to very impact the school system and make a lot of damage for the kids that need help. So what is your look on that?
Well, I think it is very damaging to Irlen in that way, because everyone's trying to make a difference for the children to get the diagnosis for Irlen syndrome, but you've got those people going, well, don't believe those Irlen people, because it's not a condition, when really they're not in their shoes or my shoes or your shoes dealing with the condition. And you know, it's a private like diagnosis because of like no one believes it. So getting those people going, well, listen to us, and trying to spoil other people's like what their work, it just makes me angry that this does happen every day. And
on one hand, I understand that it's hard to understand because it's hard to explain what we experience.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't just put that aside, because there is so much people that have a better life because of lenses.
Yeah.
And it should be a research explosion if you see that someone has something has such a good impact on your body, on your reading, on your sight or head. I mean, and it's really unfortunate that they don't want that conversation about well, let's talk and see what we can do further on. If we just try and push, I hope that someday we will.
I hope so, because it's just so important for so many. Because when you reach out to get that diagnosis, it's like something was just lifted off your shoulders. Like, this is what I've been struggling with all this time, and now something it's been done. And if damage is done, people, you just undoes all the work that's been done.
Yeah, and it is very important to be diagnosed earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's never too late. But coping with Irlen syndrome it's not a joke. It's
not.
It can be very hard. I think we covered it pretty much. I will thank you for your conversations, for your time. I'm very grateful that you joined me today, and we will stay in touch, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Been great talking to you.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.